Hi guys, I'm Libertman, forced to be alone, free to decide how. Today we begin exploring in detail each of the four macro groups in the C4PC. We start with group 1, the internal rationals. What does internal rational mean? This group combines internal, individual, and rational axes. In the internal, people from this group process reality from the inside. In the individual dimension, a person from this group makes decision independently. And from the rational dimension, a person from this group prioritizes logic, structure, and reason. Internal rationals live mainly inside their mind. They are analytical, independent, and conceptual. They can think about an idea for days, and being alone doesn't bother them. They actually need it. So, which are the most common MBTI subtypes? The INTJ, the INTP, the ISTJ, and the ISTP. Not all of them operate in the same way, but they share a common backbone: the internal thinking and cognitive self-sufficiency. Which are the core traits of this macro group? They are independent, they have deep analysis, love of logic, emotional distance to think clearly. They possess strong ability to work alone. They seek to perfect mental models, and they tend to specialize and also focus on systems, patterns, structures. They rarely identify with emotional narratives or with social fads. Their compass is internal. So let's see an example of how this interior individual quadrant apply into this group. Let's imagine a guy that he likes to write software. He learned on his own, watching tutorials, and spends afternoons studying how systems work internally. He doesn't need someone guiding him. His ability to focus lets him progress even if his environment is mediocre or unstimulating. His strength comes from within. Another example, in this case, how the interior rational dimension apply to this group would be an INTJ person that works in scientific research. When presented with a complex problem, this person doesn't react emotionally. He breaks it down, analyzes it, and builds a mental model. His inner world is his laboratory. But what are the typical challenges of this group? Well, in the first place, a difficulty expressing emotions. They may seem distant or cold. They hate superficiality. They struggle to work with disorganized people. They can overthink and underact, analysis paralysis problem. And they usually get overwhelmed by highly social environments. But they also have strength. Which are their strengths? Well, they are known for their self-directed learning, their quiet innovation. They have deep insight where others stay shallow. They solve complex problems. They are reliable and intellectually honest, and hard to corrupt or manipulate. If you need someone to tell you the truth An internal rational is your safest bet. What is the key difference compared to group number 2, the internal emotionals? Well, both live inward, but internal emotionals lives in imagery, values, and emotion. The internal rationals are based on ideas, logic, abstraction, while the internal emotionals are based on meaning, values, sensitivity. A simple example. The internal rational asks, how does it work? While the internal emotional asks, what does it mean for me? So how they perceive the world. They prefer clear systems. They need to understand why something happens. They do not settle for generic explanation like, it's that way because everyone does it. They want reasons, evidence, logic. Let's see another everyday example of in the work or study realm. They don't settle for shallow learning. If something interests them, they can study for days. If it doesn't, it's nearly impossible to force them. For example, let's take an ISTP guy. He may spend weeks learning ancient mechanics out of curiosity, but drop university because it feels like a waste of time. It's not lack of ability, it's lack of personal logical meaning. Let's see some examples of how the 4 quadrants apply into this analysis of this group. In the case of the interior individual quadrant is very strong. They develop internally, they learn, think, reorganize their mind, they have self-discipline, even if no one supports them from the outside. Then from the exterior individual quadrant, they can act effectively, but only if there's a clear reason. Then their weakest expression of the quadrant is the interior collective quadrant. They don't adopt group values automatically. They question everything. And their exterior collective quadrant, it's variable. They don't naturally fit into rigid institutions, but if something lacks logic, they are not interested. What are some career or natural path for this group? They thrive in paths where they can work alone, go deep, research, build systems, for example, software development, science, data analysis, engineering, mathematics, system design, technical writing. And regarding relationships, they form deep connections with very few people. They are not cold, but they are selective. If they accept you, it is for the long term. They appreciate honesty, clear thinking, deep conversations. They struggle with manipulation, emotional excess, and unnecessary drama. So if you recognize yourself here in this description, you're welcome to this group. This is your group where your personality belongs to. So remember, your strength is in your mind, not in external validation. What matters most is building your own path, cultivating your knowledge, and designing a life system aligned with who you are. So thank you for listening to this episode. In the next video, we'll explore group 2, the internal emotionals. See you there.